Hey guys, Boni here. Come, sit down. I need to tell you about something that's been bothering me for weeks. And I mean genuinely bothering me. Like that feeling when you discover someone you trusted has been lying to your face the whole time. So I was doing research for another episode a few weeks back, and I stumbled across a report from Public Citizen, a US watchdog group. And what I read made me stop everything. I actually closed my laptop, sat back, and just stared at the wall for a minute. Because what I found was this: Toyota, the company that gave us the Prius, the company that was supposed to be the green hero of the automotive world, has quietly become the number one funder of climate-denying politicians in the United States Congress. $271,000 to 62 candidates who actively fight against clean air policies. That's 9 times more than Ford. More than double what General Motors spends. And I thought, how is nobody talking about this? So today I want to take you on the journey I went on, because the deeper I dug, the more disturbing it got. And by the end of this, I think you're going to look at Toyota very differently. I know I do. Let's start with what Toyota tells the world. They have this beautiful marketing campaign called Beyond Zero. It's all about sustainability, clean air, a greener future. Lovely stuff. And on the surface, they seem like they're doing the right thing. They invented the hybrid after all. The Prius was revolutionary 25 years ago. So surely Toyota is leading the charge into the electric future, right? Wrong. And this is where it gets Machiavellian. See, Toyota has this thing they call a multi-pathway approach. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? They say, look, we don't think battery electric vehicles are the only answer. We're exploring hydrogen, we're doing hybrids, we're working on solid-state batteries, we're keeping our options open. And when I first heard that, I thought, okay, fair enough. Maybe they're being smart. Maybe they know something the rest of the industry doesn't. But then I looked at the actions behind the words. And guys, the actions tell a completely different story. Their former CEO, Akio Toyoda, said in 2022 that he belonged to a silent majority in the auto industry who question whether EVs are really the way forward. He said carbon is the enemy, not a particular powertrain. And on the surface, that sounds intellectual. It sounds nuanced. But what it actually is, and I'm going to be straight with you here, is a delay tactic dressed up in a suit. Here's why. Toyota has been promising game-changing solid-state batteries since 2020. First it was going to be 2022, then 2025. Now they're saying 2027 or 2028. It keeps moving. Meanwhile, they've pushed hydrogen fuel cells like the Mirai, but the hydrogen infrastructure has basically failed to materialize anywhere in the world. So you've got these two future technologies that are always 5 years away. And in the meantime, what is Toyota actually selling? The same highly profitable gas-powered hybrids they've been making for a quarter century. And it hit me. This isn't a multi-pathway strategy. This is a stalling strategy. They're creating a narrative of future innovation so they can keep milking their current cash cow without spending the billions required to actually go electric. And to make sure nobody forces their hand, they are funding the politicians who will block the regulations that would make them change. That's not innovation. That's corporate self-preservation disguised as innovation. And I found that deeply unsettling. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Because while Toyota is playing this game, the world isn't standing still. In China, the world's largest car market, electric vehicles now account for over 60% of new car sales. 60%? And Chinese companies like BYD are eating Toyota alive over there. Toyota and Honda are losing market share in China because they simply don't have competitive electric vehicles to offer. They were so busy protecting their hybrid profits that they missed the transition. And now they're scrambling. And it's not just Toyota that's suffering. Because Toyota has so much influence over the Japanese government, their strategy has effectively dragged the entire Japanese auto industry into this lag. Influence Map, a respected research group, ranked Toyota as the single worst automaker in the world for climate lobbying. Not just in 2024. They've held that position for years. They've been actively lobbying governments worldwide to treat their fossil fuel hybrids the same as zero-emission vehicles. Think about that. They're trying to rewrite the rules so their old products still qualify as green. I sat with that for a long time because the irony is almost painful. The company that was once the green darling of the auto world, the company that made environmentalism cool in the car industry, is now the primary force holding back the very revolution it helped inspire. That's not just ironic. That's tragic. Now, I want to be fair here. I always try to see both sides on this channel. Toyota isn't stupid. They're protecting a $300 billion annual revenue machine. They employ hundreds of thousands of people. A sudden pivot to full electric would be enormously expensive and risky. I understand the business logic, but understanding it doesn't mean I agree with it. Because the market has already decided. Global environmental imperatives have already decided. EVs are the future. The only question is whether Toyota can hold back the tide long enough to catch up, or whether this silent war will be their undoing. And honestly, I think it's going to be their undoing. Not because they're not smart enough to pivot, they absolutely are, but because the competition isn't waiting. BYD, Tesla, Hyundai, the Korean manufacturers, they're moving at a pace that Toyota's political lobbying simply cannot match. You can buy all the politicians you want, but you can't lobby your way out of technological irrelevance. So what's the lesson for us? For me, it's this. Always follow the money. Always look past the PR. When a company tells you one thing but funds the opposite, believe the funding. Toyota's Beyond Zero campaign is beautiful marketing. But the $271,000 going to climate deniers, that's the truth. That's where their real priorities are. And for those of us in South Africa watching the global auto industry reshape itself, this matters. Because the cars we'll be driving in 10 years, the jobs in our auto sector, the investments we make today, all of it is being shaped by this silent war happening right now. Alright guys, that's what's been on my mind. I appreciate you sitting with me through this one. It's a heavy topic, but I think it's important. If it made you think differently about anything, even just one thing, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. And tell me in the comments, do you think Toyota can catch up or have they already lost this war? I really want to hear your take. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Boni out.